Hey y'all, welcome back to For the Fans, where today we are so excited to talk about the latest week in the BBCAN manor, where we got to see Queen Koozie exit the house and a really wild double eviction where I hate to give someone their flowers, but it's going to come to that.
Not flowers, no flowers.
All the flowers. I hate to do it, but you have to give credit where credit is due. I thought it was a wild and interesting week. What are your thoughts on this week, Sheldon?
It was a great week, and I have to say it was a bit of a sad week because
Lots of tears.
it wasn't. No, I don't care about those tears. It was a sad week for me because I think my my perspective on Kuzi has significantly changed, and I don't want to say I have lost complete respect for her. But I thought she was a very different person, and we saw other sides of her this week and last week, I should say, that I don't know if I'll be able to forget.
I mean, I think we saw flaws in a person and I think kind of based off of her eviction speech that she recognized it and is owning it, and that's really all that you can ask from a person. But I think earlier this season we were like, oh, okay, she's really really great, but then maybe we got to the point of we are like, well, she's really great for this group of players, but in the big scheme of Big Brother as a whole, she's got some flaws. And so I think we
Let's get into it.
definitely have a flawed player that is still entertaining.
Let's get into it, Kylie, because I've got a lot more thoughts about it. And
Okay, well, let's do it. So, this week picks up with Renee's HOH victory from dead last to the HOH room. She's gone from the cellar to the king's palace. Uh, I love this moment of them like celebrating the girly pops. They are, jumping around, and Daniel and Ty can like literally hear them downstairs in the little Circle K room, and they sound like, a herd of buffaloes. But I'm happy for them, but I'm especially happy for Renee.
look, Renee has been complete underdog story this entire
Yeah.
time. Love it, love it, love it, love it. My neighbor, I love her. Can't wait for her to win.
Oh, okay. I like it. I like coming around on this idea.
Mhm.
Um, So we get, kind of there's just, there's 7 people left in the house. We're set up in these obviously 2 groups of what's left of the crown, um, Daniel, Anika, and Kuzi, the girly pops, Shania, Renee, and Claudia, and then Ty in the middle. But Ty is public enemy number 1. And his philosophy, I'm just going to win comps.
Yeah, look,
And it's not a bad philosophy for him.
well, I, I think that is at the core his philosophy. As the week unfolded, I think we saw a few other things
Mhm,
happen that we haven't actually been really privy to,
mhm.
including an obviously much closer relationship between him and Kuzi than I think we've ever seen in any episode.
Mhm.
And what wasn't wasn't you know head on addressed, but there is obviously some sort of reconnection between Claudia and Ty
Yeah.
that Big Brother did not address, but just this physical contact between them was very clear that
Still an
previous
intimate
breakup,
level there.
yeah, there is they haven't broken up just as much as we thought they did,
Right,
is
right,
what
right.
it seems like has
Mm,
happened, and
yeah, I
they're
think I
loyal.
think you could say they might have a little bit of sexual tension, and they're probably gonna do it when the season's over. Um,
I hope not for some reason, and I don't know why, but I kind of
what?
I don't. I hope not.
Yeah, I
I
hope
hope
not
not
either,
for
but
Claudia.
it's gonna happen. Okay, but we see at the beginning of, the nomination episode where we're really seeing Kuzi beginning to spiral. And as soon as Renee wins HOH, Koozy's not gonna waste any time. She is going up to the HOH room. She wants to talk to her, and she does it in front of everybody. And I feel like last week, Kevin had told us that in the digital daily drops that this foursome had formed between Claudia, Shania, Daniel, and Anika. And Kuzi follows Renee up to the HOH room. Ty is God knows where, and leaves the four of them in the living room together to really kind of openly, you know, talk and start painting that big, nice target on Kuzi's back. And Kuzi isn't quite aware of it, or else Kuzi just doesn't care. I'm not sure which.
Look, I'm a little bit confused about this. Like, I'm truly confused because there's two parts of this. You have the fact that Kuzi went to pitch for herself to Renee.
Mhm.
100% exactly what she should be doing.
Yeah.
Exactly what Anika should be doing. Exactly what Daniel should be doing. No
Mhm.
doubt about it. Um, so that's sort of point number one. Like, I don't think she actually did anything wrong there. Maybe when she went, how she went, the sort of obvious gamesmanship that was happening, fine. But this is sort of the first time we see a rift. Well, not the first time, but we're sort of starting to see
This
this
isn't
rift.
just a rift. This is like a full on earthquake
Yeah, like,
chasm has
yes,
opened up.
and I'm not actually. I can't imagine that her walking up those stairs to go to Renee's room is why this happened. And,
No.
and I wish that we would get a little bit more understanding if it was more so the fact that, maybe Anika and Daniel really actually just woke up one morning and said, holy crap, Kuzi's gonna beat us. So we really need to find a complete different way to get there. Or was it the fact that Kuzi has actually been really tight, getting tighter and tighter and not willing to get rid of Ty? Like I'm not certain exactly how and why this rift started, because just go back 1.5 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, they were undeniably the three of them fully wholeheartedly together against everybody else. So I'm just confused. But at the core, did she do anything really
I
wrong?
think it's
No.
I think it's both things. Like I think that she has had this close relationship with Ty, and whenever all of this stuff happened with his little buddy, what was his name? The really shitty
Zach.
guy? Huh? Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah, how could I forget? When all the stuff happened with Zach, they Ty and Kuzi were able to repair their relationship. And then I think also Daniel and Anika are like, ooh, Kuzi's good. We are not going to be able to beat her. So I think it's a combination. And um, I think it's honestly, I don't think, I don't think that Kuzi could have played it differently in terms of, I think that the result ends up the same for her.
Can I
So
ask?
I'm like, go for it. Play aggressively, go up, have the conversation, say the things that you need to say. And, ultimately, if you have to throw the two people you've been working with under the bus, that's fine because they're doing the same thing to you.
Let me add another piece. I'm not fully sure I buy exactly what you're saying. I think there was another way around this potentially. Um, but well, I'm going to make an argument that Kuzi did everything to herself. Like, this is nobody's fault, but Kuzi left, obviously, ultimately. I'm jumping ahead a bit, but look, this was her. And based on her behavior this last week, primarily based on the discussion she had in the pool table room with Daniel, which we'll certainly get into, because like that was a very telling moment for me about who Kuzi is. Kuzi had very little respect for anybody in that house other than herself. She didn't look at Daniel and Anika as equals. She didn't look at these people as somebody that she was working with. I truly believe she was looking at these people as people who were working for her, working in her game, and there was zero doubt in her mind that she in any way, or sorry, Daniel or Anika in any way, had made any real moves, had played any real game. She thought he was weak. She thought they were nothing. And that is just, I'm sorry, poor gameplay. Really poor gameplay to disrespect the people that would have done anything for her. Anything for her. Even if they end up going home and she's there at the end, she needs their votes. So it's just fundamentally, I think, silly, rude, disrespectful, ungrateful gameplay, and I did not like it.
I mean, I don't disagree with any of those things. She definitely, like you said, she was the main character. Anika and Daniel were supporting characters to her storyline, and
But you see, I don't actually believe that in truth, right? Like I actually feel that Anika. Let me start off with Daniel. I think Daniel has been playing this game since day one.
oh yeah.
I think Daniel is doing very similar things Kuzi did this entire game. The difference is Anika was loud about it. Daniel was not.
Ding ding. Well,
And,
and also that's why Daniel is still there and Anika's not because excuse
and
me,
Kuzi's not.
Kuzi's not because Daniel managed to base, like you said, because now Daniel gets to take all that
All the
credit.
credit, as he should.
And
And
he's
not
still
only
in the
that,
game.
Daniel has zero reason to go against Anika.
Right.
Daniel could go to the end with Anika, say, I was loyal to the end with my ride or die, and still win the game.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like that is just a fantabulous story. But let me also just say one other thing. We didn't even get to the fact we I think we're skipping ahead. We're doing 3 episodes in 1 week,
And
but
basically like 2 weeks of episodes in one week.
basically because of a double. You're absolutely right. But the thing that is very clear to me about Kuzi's gameplay is that Kuzi's absolutely fantastic at being liked. Kuzi's also absolutely fantastic at socially positioning herself in a manner to go far in the game.
Hmm.
Kuzi, based on what we saw over the last 2 weeks, does not like when things don't go her way. She
Right.
can't handle when things don't go her way.
Right.
And the second there is even an ounce of something going on that she doesn't approve of, we saw a complete different side of Kuzi.
Hmm.
And, I want to look back and think about I had previously said that she was playing the best game in the house. And I think I'm wrong. I fundamentally think I'm wrong because we hadn't seen her in a lot of different situations. We saw her only in situations where she was on top. Everybody was supporting her. The second something didn't go her way, last week, the second Claudia didn't pick her to play veto over Renee, she got pissed. Like something so silly and illogical of her to even think. We saw a completely different side of Kuzi. And I have to say, I was wrong. She is a good game player. She is not a great game player. She has severe flaws.
She has a lot of flaws, but she's an entertaining player, and that is what I like. I like entertaining, and I like that she played hard, and I don't think you can take that away from her.
No,
Um,
no,
so
but I can take away my respect that I had. Sorry.
that's fine. Okay.
I'm sad about it because I really, really wanted her to win. I really, really wanted to love her, and part of me still does love her, but I can't get a. I hate disrespect. I hate
Right.
disrespect. It was so yucky to me.
I mean, it was a little bit yucky, but it was also entertaining, and I want that balance of I want it to be entertaining, and I can, excuse the yuckiness of it because to me,
Entertaining would have been if she stayed for me.
well, I
That would have been
mean,
entertaining.
but
But see, she was able to socially and strategically figure out how to stay. That is a
right. No, that would have been entertaining too, but, like you said, you don't realize it, but you do kind of want that trashy reality TV drama.
I
You just
listen.
don't
Jerry
realize it.
Springer passed away yesterday, and I'd never liked the show, and I still wouldn't.
Well, I think that the contrasting difference though is we see Kuzi, which I think she makes some good, valid points when she is campaigning to Renee to stay off of the block. But I think ultimately Daniel does do a better job because Daniel is like, look, Renee, we've not been aligned in this game. We've not seen eye to eye, but I've been honest with you. Like when I was going to vote for you, I told you I was going to vote for you. And I think that that honesty went really, really far with Renee, and that altogether that is better gameplay. And it's kind of the same thing like what we've been talking about with Survivor. You've got these loud upfront people like Danny, like Jam Jam, like Carolyn, but it's the people like Franny, possibly Heidi, that end up winning because while the big flashy loud is fun and it's fun to watch, it's not necessarily equaling out to a victory. And that is what we're also seeing, I feel like, set up here in that Kuzi, while loud up front, fun to watch, Daniel is the one that is ultimately scary.
But hold on, like maybe loud is the wrong word, Kylie. Just because Daniel is not quiet, he is far from it. He's got an
Right.
immense
True.
person. I've been look.
But in
I
it's and it's Daniel is similar to Carolyn in that personality is loud, gameplay is quiet.
but let's can we go back? Like who won last season? Similar thing.
Sure.
Kevin Jacobs was loud when he needed to be and quiet when he needed to be.
Right.
Right? You
Gameplay quiet,
Paris.
personality,
One
that
of
he's
my
there.
one of my other favorite BBCAN winners, Paris. Quiet when she needed to be, loud when she needed to be. Sarah Hanlon, quiet when she it's to me this is the mold of how you play Big Brother. You relax, but you have fun.
Yeah.
And when you are too upfront, when you become Zach, and ultimately when you become Kuzi, this happens. Look, I don't want to you know, create this false, comparison between Kuzi and Zach because they're not even close.
Right, right, right.
But the thing that got Kuzi as far as she did was quite simple. She's extremely likable.
Mhm.
Extreme. It's hard not to love listening to her
Yeah.
speak in that
Well,
almost
she's
screaming tone.
very good, very charming.
And might I just say, you know, last year Kevin was saying Summer's going to end up on TV. You know who's going to end up on TV if she wants to be on TV? Kuzi.
Yeah, for
She's
sure.
got the personality.
All right, so time for the nominations. Ultimately, Renee goes with Ty and Anika. Ty is like, that's fine. I don't care. I'm just gonna try to win the veto. Like that's what I'm out here doing. What do you think about these nominations?
Makes sense. Makes sense. This is exactly what needed to be done. Um, there was no way around it. And then you deal with the aftermath of if Ty takes himself off, what needs to happen at that point. But I don't know. There was no real other option. And I have to take Renee for her word that her target was certainly Ty. Period. Full stop. And she wasn't, I think, even having any thoughts about what happens next. I truly believe she was going to figure that out when it was that time to figure it out. Um, so yeah, no, I've got no problem with this. I might sort of question why Ty is the target.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, once again, you have this group of 3. Like, yes, you're starting to see, the fractures in it, but Renee's not really seeing the fractures as much as Shania and Claudia are
Correct.
because they're not, Daniel and Anika aren't voicing their, big problems with, Kuzi to Renee. They're voicing it to the other 2 girly pops. But so to Renee a little bit like, why are you not going to take a shot at the group of 3? Or, like she says, leave Kuzi in, leave one of the other ones in if they're already, warring against each other. So I don't necessarily hate the nominations, but I hate the idea that Ty is the ultimate target.
Yeah, yeah, I don't get it. I don't. Yeah, no, I don't get it. I just really wonder if there really was this amount of vitriol that they just fundamentally don't want him in the house, and and even if that's not necessarily a good game move, that's what they wanted to do. I think
Right.
it's silly.
Yeah.
I think it's silly. I
Yeah,
think
it doesn't make complete sense, but then we're also at the point where, like, if you're not going to nominate, the girly pops, you don't have a lot of choices.
yep,
So,
yep.
time for the oh, no, no, no. Before that, before we get to the veto episode, we do have this clip of a flashback where we got to see Hope before he was evicted having a conversation with Kuzi and tells Kuzi, like, Anika has this whole other plan without you. Daniel is her number one. She wants you to be this big threat and she wants to just kind of fly under the radar. So, I think that this tip off from Hope is also kind of what has lit this fire under Kuzi's ass, where she knows that those two are not really with her. And I think that is probably fueling a lot of her behavior this week.
Anika is my enemy. I wish I could do her accent. She does it so
Yeah.
well. I don't
Yeah.
know how to. Anika is my enemy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, 100%. But wasn't that obvious? Like, she's been playing with Anika this entire game. It's very clear that Anika is a player. She didn't really know how to play this game in the
Well,
beginning.
but I mean, I think that no, it's not very obvious. I think that Kuzi is kind of like, I took you under my wing and now, like you're going to clip my wing and, arise from my shadow. Like, what? How dare you? You would hope that that is what Anika would do, but I think Kuzi is like, girl, I showed you the ropes. I can't believe you would do this to me. Um,
I would.
and so we get a confessional from Kuzi where she's like, ultimately, what I want to do is I want to play in this veto competition. I want to win and keep myself safe, and I want to pull Ty off because then Anika and Daniel have to go up against each other. And I am here for the drama. So I am like, let's go. I kind of want to see this happen.
It
I
was.
do. I do.
I know
All
you
right.
do. I don't like it, but like it was a little disheartening. It was
Yeah.
so, like I was hoping it was the three of them for life, and then it somehow became very clear. Although maybe I just wasn't listening. I don't think she really ever wanted to be with him. Like I think it was her and Ty in her mind.
And
Like
it
I
may have
think
been.
he was going to be her stallion that
Well, I
won
mean,
competition.
Kuzi definitely has the mindset of she wants to be with a quote unquote worthy player. And she doesn't deem Daniel or Anika as that. And she sees that in Ty. And so
She's
the
wrong.
heart wants what the heart wants. You
You,
know,
I said a few weeks ago that Kuzi likes him. Do you think that's true?
well, I think Ty said that Kuzi likes him.
Do you think he
I
does?
don't know. I don't necessarily see that.
Is there an alternate reality where if Ty and Claudia didn't get together, we would have been seeing a completely different showmance?
I don't know. I don't necessarily see it as a showmance. I it comes across to me more platonic than, flirtatious, but I mean,
But
who's
maybe
who's
it's
to
just not
know?
that like. But isn't it that way? Because I, I don't think what we saw that relationship between Santina and Shania with Robert at the beginning, where it
Mhm.
was one girl like, again kind of against the other. I don't imagine Kuzi's the type of person that would let anything like that be seen in public
Mhm.
because I think she would find that embarrassing and gross. So I think because Claudia got high, I wonder if she's just like off limits for
Mhm.
now. For now.
For now, bum bum bum. All right, so time for this power veto competition. I thought it was really fun. What did you think about the 4 levels and the 4 temptations? Because it was fun, and like, nobody I'm surprised nobody is tempted by obviously, nobody is tempted by the winner's outfit because, like, let's be honest, It's like a $25 outfit, and anyone
Canadian.
can buy it on their own.
Canadian.
Next
So
up, though,
$15 American outfit, yes.
next up though is letters from home, and I am surprised that we did not see anybody go for this letter from home. What about you?
Okay, so I agree. I don't necessarily agree with you. I do wonder if parts of them are like, well, this is the second room and this is the second temptation. This is only going to get better. So if I
Mhm,
do take any temptation, let's actually take one of those. I also think that it was very clear that the house was divided.
mhm,
And I think the stakes were extremely, extremely high for absolutely everybody that was competing. And so I think that they needed to forget about it. On overall competition as a whole, these are my favorite Big Brother Canada competitions. These are my favorite competitions of any reality. I love this stuff.
mhm. Yeah,
Uh, I want. I don't. I was about to say I want more of it, but maybe I don't because then when it happens, it's just so much better. But
mhm.
I loved every second of it. I love Kai in the room with the mother. I love like not even making eye contact. I loved everything about this.
Yeah.
So more Big Brother. Give me more.
But, we do see one person really give in to the temptation in the money room.
Yes.
$1,000 is hidden inside of this luggage. You can find it if you want to, and Kuzi decides to take the bait and dig for the money. Would you have been tempted by the money?
Depends where I was in the game.
Right.
It really depends on where I was in the game. And truthfully, she shouldn't have. But again,
Yeah.
I like there is this overconfidence in Kuzi.
Mhm.
And I kind of think, oh yeah, 40 seconds is what it ended up being. 40 seconds for $1,000 sounds really good to me too. So, and I assume it's okay, let's see what's inside. And they're like, okay, well, it can't be another bag. Oh, it's another bag. Oh, it can't be another bag. Oh, it's another, right?
Right.
And at some point, you're just so deep. What are you going to just not take the $1,000 any? Like,
Right. You're not
you're
gonna
taking the
stop.
money. But look, I'll take $1,000 in 40 seconds. Give it to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad payment, but, as she later says, like, "Is this a $99,000 mistake?"
It was.
It was.
It was.
We don't know that she necessarily wins, but it definitely leads to her eviction this week. Next room, puppies.
Puppies.
Okay, like, I have a golden retriever, and I just saw these little babies, and I was like, I would have had to have picked one of them up and, like, held him with me while I'm searching for puzzle pieces.
Yeah, but not even the fact that they were there. Literally, when they were moving around the rooms, the puppies were as a
Yeah.
pack moving with the like. Oh, it would have been so hard for me. I
Yes,
love
so hard. I
puppies.
would have
I
had
love
to have picked one
puppies.
of them up and just snuggled him. I mean, because you don't have any of that love, and, like, I mean, I obviously would not ever play Big Brother or Survivor because I couldn't be away from my child for that long, but, like, having the comfort of, like, a pet too, you don't have that, and they're in there for a really, really long time, and so I just would have wanted to have picked up a little puppy and snuggled it. I don't think I would have been tempted by the letter. I would have been tempted by the pup, though.
Okay, I just want to go. Let me cover Kylie for a second and not Big Brother. I think that is so sad what you just said, and you've said it to me so many times. And every time you say that to me, I get more upset because you know how freaking good you would be at a game like this, and you know how entertaining you would be. And it is like I know you have to take care of your daughter, but Kylie, come on, give the world what they need.
No.
Give
Okay.
the world what they need.
Moving on to the 5th and final
Give the
room.
world what they need.
The 5th and final room, it is a loved one, and we really only see Shania, like, react to her loved one and spend some time with them, even though she doesn't spend very much time at all. And to be honest, like, if I'm Shania, I am probably going to spend the time with
All
my
the
loved
time.
one because you're not gonna get put up this week. So, you might as well spend that time with your loved one. don't win this HOH. Girl, go back and get that $1,000 too. That's what you should have done. And love on a puppy. Take it all.
Yeah, I don't. And she ended up having the worst time as well.
Right.
What would you have done in this situation? Your mom is in the room. Sheldon's in the room. What would you do?
I mean, like I said, I feel like the only and that's not to say like I love my husband extremely. I love my mom, my sisters. Like I would be so excited to see any of them, but like the only one that would make me like break down and not be able to continue to do it would be my child. And so anybody else in that room, I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I miss you so much." But like I mean, and I feel like a lot of adults are this way. Like, I don't see my mom every week anyway. So, like, if I don't, it wouldn't be anything to me if I haven't seen my mom in a month. Like, yes, I've gotten to talk to her, but I go, 2, 3 months at a time without seeing her anyway. So, like, if you put my mom in the room, I would not necessarily be tempted by
I would struggle.
that.
I see my mother almost every single day.
Yeah.
I see my nephews almost every single day. Like it would be really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. I, I think my reaction would probably have been closer to what Daniel's reaction was. I need to go in for that hug and completely emotionally distraught the rest of the time while I did what I knew I needed to do.
Yeah.
Like it would have been hell for me. Hell,
Yeah.
if my dog was there, over. It's over.
Yeah, my kid, my dogs, my cat, my husband, those are the ones that would be the hardest. But you have to push on. But the competition is over, and Shania, her time is way off. Anika, her time is way off. It's really coming down to Kuzi, Daniel, and Ty, and they are all within a minute of each other. But Kuzi is in the 19-minute range, and we find out that the two guys are separated by 4 seconds. Oh my gosh, that is insane.
I will make a guess based on zero data that the Big Brother producers went back and timed everything multiple times because they all wanted Daniel to win that.
What do you mean they timed? Oh, they went through
Like
everybody's
they wanted to
competition
make
time.
sure that they were certainly right when they saw that Ty won.
I don't know. I mean, I
I,
think it
I think
probably
so.
gives better drama for them. Well, but I guess they may like Kuzi, but Ty winning it is some definite drama. And so, lo and behold, Ty is victorious 3 in a row. He has won another veto and will be pulling himself off.
Is there a bit of is there a lesson here that if you get rid of the big strong guys, you can't leave any of them behind. You have to finish the job
Well, I
or
mean,
you're
whenever you
screwed.
see that there is a guy that is actually a comp beast, not, a self-proclaimed one like Hope, but when you see, somebody like Ty, somebody like Cody Calafiore, who, went Xavier, somebody that is winning multiple competitions, you got to get rid of them because Big Brother's
They
comp,
tried
big,
week
yeah.
after
Well, I
week.
mean, they have. I mean, they have tried. They should have, tried to
Backdoor
push
him.
him out the door when Zach left. They should have been like, get out. Leave
Well,
with your friend.
well, I've like I have been a bit confused why they didn't backdoor him the last two times.
Yeah.
Like, I do not understand why they're just
Yeah, you
let's
don't give him the
give him a chance.
opportunity to compete.
No, you don't. This guy can't have the opportunity, and you're right. He should have left.
Yeah.
Although it's really interesting because I have been peeking on Big Brother Twitter more than I ever have because I'm not a big social media person, as Kylie, and there seems to be a very big shift in the
Yeah.
Ty perception. People want him to win. I'm very confused about that.
I mean, it's one of those things where like I was even like so far gone off of Ty that I was like, I will not include him in a thumbnail image. Like, I think he is a garbage human being. And
Ooh.
that opinion has not changed. But you have to respect a little bit what he has done in the game as a player since Zach has left.
What
And
he's done in the game as an athlete, as a competitor, not
well, I
as a
mean, not
player.
just that, I mean, strategically too, as we're gonna get into in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, absolutely killing it in these competitions. And so he is featured in the thumbnail because I don't think you can let that moment go without, a little bit of recognition.
Not the
Um,
thumbnail.
but what is crazy to me is after this veto comp, Kuzi immediately is like, I went for the $1,000. Did none of y'all? Girl, you stick that $1,000 in your pocket and you don't tell a soul.
Yeah,
Like,
why
there's
did
no
she open her
reason.
mouth?
No reason. Nobody had to know.
Again, I think it's confidence. I think it's cockiness. I
Yeah.
think it's just nothing's gonna get me down.
Yeah. Um, but we see Kuzi starting to go to work. She goes to work on Renee. She goes to work on Shania. She goes to work on Claudia. She knows she has Ty's vote. She knows Daniel is going to vote to keep Anika. So ultimately, she's focusing on the girls. And um, this is before she's even nominated, but really focusing in on, hey, like it's me versus Daniel. I got to get him up on the block. And she promises Renee final two. Basically, she's like, hey girl, it's those two together, Anika and Daniel. Shania and Claudia have already proved that they're not going to turn on each other. Like you and me, we are in the same positions. And I love this argument from Kuzi because she's not completely wrong, because Claudia and Shania, in theory, were not going to choose her.
I don't know if that's true. Like,
I
like
think it is.
I don't know. I just don't
I
know.
I think so. And obviously if you're watching this, then you know what is going to happen in the next, episode where we ultimately see Shania leave at Claudia's hand.
Excuse me?
Yeah, wow.
Missed that.
Wild. But I don't think that was Claudia choosing Renee over Shania. I think that was Claudia choosing Ty over Shania. And so, yeah, I think if Claudia has her choice, she would have chosen Shania over Renee. So the argument from Kuzi is valid, I believe.
Look, again, she's not a bad game player. The problem is, as she said herself, she starts campaigning around the house. People start really realizing how good of a game player she is,
Yeah, right.
how strategic she is,
Yeah,
how smart she
smart.
is.
She is so
She's
smart.
smart, so smart. Um, and that's dangerous, and that's why you got to get rid of her.
Right. So time for the veto ceremony. And once again, like I hate to have to do this, but Ty does a really good speech of like, as someone has said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But Kuzi, Claudia, Renee, you've all missed. Try again later. And Renee steps up. Hey, I feel like a while the getting's good, I got to go after this person. Kuzi, please take a seat.
And what's the response,
Renee,
Kyla?
shut up. Renee, shut up. Renee, sit down. And like, I have never seen this response in a nomination ceremony. Like, fire. Disrespectful, but also hell entertaining.
I didn't
Go
find
off,
it entertaining.
Sheldon.
I did not find it entertaining, Kylie. I truly found it just rude. Like it was unnecessary. It was petty. It was disrespectful. It was no. I like. It said a lot about her. It said a lot about Kuzi to me. And yes, this was a moment of stress. This was a moment she would dreaded the entire game. It's a strange moment in front of cameras, in front of strangers that she's been living with for a few months almost now. But I did not find it entertaining. I found it shocking. I found it mean. I found it demeaning to Renee. Again, just as what I said that she doesn't respect Tyler Tyler. She doesn't respect Daniel and Anika. She too doesn't respect Renee. She too
Right.
doesn't respect Shania, certainly. She too doesn't respect Claudia. I actually do believe the only person she respected in that house was Ty, because
Mhm.
Ty wins. But yeah, no, not entertaining. I thought it was just sad.
Well, it is what it is, and it happened. Ultimately, it's just, I guess for me, because we talk sometimes that we have all played, these um online reality games. I too have had a little bit of a moment of kooziness in myself where, like you just
But that's who you really are.
you get an exactly, you get a little bit annoyed and you just can't contain it any longer. And is it necessarily the smartest thing? No, and it's a terrible move on Kuzi's part,
No, no, no.
to
But Kylie, I've seen those moments in you. It was
sure.
not this.
No, I know, and I
It
know that
was
mine
never. It
wasn't
was never
my
this.
moments weren't necessarily disrespectful,
It
but
wasn't this pointed.
was it necessarily the smartest move? No. And from Kuzi, this is not the smartest
Oh,
move because
I'm not talking about it, Kylie, from a move perspective. From a move perspective, it's lunacy. It's dumb. I'm talking about this from a human perspective. Okay, could you imagine your mother watching you say that to another person in the house? Like I would be so embarrassed, and I don't think she is.
I just don't feel that and maybe I'm like have on rose colored glasses for Kuzi because I'm a fan, and like if this was Ty I would be like, that piece of shit, and I would be like beside myself with like how appalling this was. And so I do think that sometimes I have a little bit of a hard time being objective on these things.
All right.
And so I can look at it from the entertainment value as opposed to like real life. Is this a reflection of what she might do? I don't know.
I hope. Look, I, I I think it is. Like I have zero evidence to that, but I don't know if she meant it wholeheartedly, and it's a real reflection of her heart.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't be surprised that when she is put in a corner, she attacks. She doesn't
Yeah.
fight. It's fight or flight. She fights,
Yeah.
and
And she
this
fights dirty.
and she's got a quick tongue. She's smart as hell. She can make people look like an idiot very quickly,
Yeah.
right? But I don't like that.
Yeah.
Don't like it. Not good from a game point of view. Not good from a human point of view. Not good. Um, she'll be back to play Big Brother Canada if she chooses to.
Oh
Right?
yeah, absolutely.
Like she's back, and I will happily watch her and get excited by her. But this better not happen again. Mhm.
Ooh, you heard it here. All right. So time for the campaigning, Anika versus Kuzi. And once again, like Kuzi is going to reach out to Renee. She does apologize to Renee the next day or later that day. And I don't know at this point if it's entirely sincere or not. But she realizes like, "Oop, I might have to have Renee if I can manage to swing Claudia, like, Renee's gonna be the one that has to break the tie."
She comes into the room, and what does she say? She says, "Yell at me." Like it's some robotic thing of, oh, Renee will be angry. Let me get her to yell at me, and the anger will, like, no, that's not humanity. No.
Well, and that's not Renee either, we've not seen anything like that from Renee. She's not been emotional, she's not been, um, explosive, she's been very even keeled, and so
She's
to
a
her,
great
it was
player,
disrespectful,
but Kylie,
and
I think, sorry,
absolutely.
I'm completely interrupting you, but you know, as we're speaking here, I'm thinking about Renee's game. She's played a fantastic game for somebody who could hardly win anything, who's been on the block time after time again, who seemingly has been expendable time after time again. She has worked her rear end off in this game to truly, what I believe is, have a great chance of winning.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I don't know.
and she makes a little bit of headway, a little with not necessarily headway, but she at least gets Renee and Claudia thinking. And they go into the bathroom. Shania is in there, and they're like, Kuzi just said some things. And Shania's like, are y'all serious? Like, what? And one of the things that I feel like is unique about this Big Brother season is that everybody is kind of forthright in saying like, well, I know that that might be better for you, but for me, I think this is better. And I think Claudia is right. I think in the big scheme of things, having Kuzi is probably better for Claudia because if it comes down to it, if Daniel and Anika end up in power and, you know, Ty wins the veto again, they're probably not going to put up Shania. They're going to put up Claudia and Renee. And so from their from her perspective, it is probably better for her to keep Kuzi. And I think the argument of, hey, Renee, these two are a duo, these two are a duo. You and me, we could be our own duo. And a little bit from Renee's perspective, I think keeping Kuzi could not be necessarily the worst thing. And they have been all very, very transparent in, yes, this may be better for you, but it's not necessarily better for me.
I think from a Shania and a Claudia point of view, agreed. I think that from a Renee perspective, she'd be going home very quickly if Kuzi
Yes.
stayed in the game, right? So, and the truth is, the goal, the detriment of being the head of household is you don't vote unless you have to vote,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it makes it very difficult. Um, I don't know. I was kind of where Shania was. Like I think the goal is
You gotta get. I mean, you've got Anika and you've got Kuzi. You gotta get Kuzi out. Kuzi is a fantastic
yeah,
player.
that's it.
Kuzi is a fantastic talker.
Yep.
Kuzi has a mind for the game, and Kuzi has the support of the jury.
One of the things that I did find interesting was I don't know if she inherently said it out loud, but part of Kuzi's argument was, "You don't want me talking to the jury."
Yeah. Well, and she's like, I am going to poison this jury on Renee. She has no chance at winning this money. And
But
I
he kind of
kind of
hinted
hate
at
that.
it in the discussion with Renee as well, and that was really interesting because like it's quite a decision. Do I keep her in the game and have to fight against her in the final two, or do I just get rid of her and hope that this is a lie?
Mhm.
And
Or
she
that she
doesn't
doesn't have the
actually join,
sway.
or right, like like when you have a good player like a Kuzi, it actually becomes a really hard decision. What's
Mhm.
better? They both seem like horrible decisions to make, horrible choices.
All right. Well, we get this moments before the live eviction. Kuzi is in the pool room. Daniel comes in and he's like, girl, what's your problem with me? Basically, like, let's iron this out. And Kuzi is like, you have no backbone. You are spineless. Da 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 da. And she tears into his ass, and Daniel gives it 1000% back.
And I'm
Completely puts it
sorry,
back onto her, and he is completely in the right in this situation. And good for
one
him
of
for
the
standing up for himself.
yeah, one of the things that Daniel said that I think is really really true about Kuzi's gameplay that I truly don't think Kuzi understands even after she was evicted. Watching the discussion with Arissa is that Kuzi did this all to herself.
Right, and she's
Kuzi
very
gets upset.
reactive
She's
when things don't go her
don't
way.
go her way, and the again I'll go back to this. The fact that it was so clear in that moment that she did not see Daniel as an equal.
Mhm.
She did not see anybody in that game as an equal is just yucky. It
Yeah.
is not cool, and I'm very, very proud of Daniel.
Mhm.
I'm proud not that he fought back because it's not like he fought back.
Well, I don't think he did anything dirty,
No, well,
he
well, that's
just
the thing. Like, I love the fact that he just used truth.
he used truth and he used game truth, he didn't. And I don't think that Kuzi is necessarily be saying, "You're spineless, you have no backbone in real life," but I think she's keeping it to a game reference, but he 100% kept it game related. Like, sorry, boo boo, that, this is on you. Um,
Yep.
Good for him. Kuzi gets her speech and like, hey, ultimately, your friends may be your enemies may be your friends. You need to look out for number one. And I'm like, I mean, I do kind of feel like you've been looking out for number one. I mean, but time to vote, and by a vote of 3-1, Kuzi is heading to the jury house.
Bye. How
And
shocked are they going to be?
they're going to be shocked. And like you said, I mean, was it no Claudia, or I can't remember who said it. One of them said it. Like, why aren't they going to be so surprised if Ty comes in on Renee's HOH? It's going to be a shock factor of, oh my gosh, Kuzi is here because of Renee. So I think Renee had a successful HOH.
Immensely successful HOH.
More successful than she realized she needed it to be.
Yeah.
All right. But surprise, double eviction. So we found out that the night before they had started they are awoken by screams. They get up and there is a murder scene laid out in front of them. I love this. We had it last season with like the Living Museum. I like it when they bring in old house guests because they're, like, while we're getting to watch them play their season, they're still fans. And so, like, to get to see these people, like, that's cool for them. And fun little setup, keeping with the theme of the season. There's been a murder, and they are going to have to be answering HOH questions about this scene. What do you think about this as a comp?
Love it.
Yeah, very fun.
It's fun. It's fun. It's different. I loved all the competitions this week. I might.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it was a whole heck of a lot of fun. The thing about competitions like this that make me happy is that I could actually win them.
Yeah,
Whereas,
yeah.
like most of the other
I like
physical
fair
stuff,
competitions.
no chance in the world.
Yeah. All right, but time for the competition, and Claudia manages to eke it out, and she is the HOH. She will definitely be in the final 5.
And doesn't that also mean that Shania and Renee are fully safe and everything will work out perfectly?
Yeah, looks like the girly pops are gonna survive another one. Like, this is crazy. They are just handing these HOHs back and forth.
Let's
Um,
go.
so let's talk about Claudia's decision, because this is a big one. For some reason, Claudia decides to not put Ty up on the block, and maybe there is some information in the digital dailies that I don't watch, so I do not have this information. I am not privy to it. But for whatever reason, Claudia decides to not put up Ty. Do you think this is intentional and that she doesn't want to look like a dum dum again if he wins veto and pulls himself off? Or do you think that this is because, as we're going to see, she apparently still has some type of working relationship with Ty?
No, I think it's because of the working relationship.
Yeah.
I actually think it's more than the working relationship. I think it's a fucking relationship. So like, I think that something is rekindled, and we just haven't seen it yet on television. Just the way they were talking to each other, looking in each other's eyes, physically groping each other, like something felt odd. So I don't think Ty was going anywhere that week.
Yeah. 1 + 1 = 2.
Yep. And so
So
that left no other choice.
yeah, so she puts up Anika and Daniel. Um, I think that if you're gonna ever go back on your word, a double eviction is a great opportunity to do it. So if she's going back on her word to Anika and Daniel, now is the time. You don't have someone that has like a whole week to just drag your name. So everybody except for Claudia will be competing in the veto competition, because there is just 5 people available and 5 spots in the veto comp. They have to grab these little urns, smash them, find their puzzle pieces. What is your thoughts?
So there's like, did it really matter that he didn't go up?
I
Because
mean,
let's say he would
ultimate
have
well,
won,
yes, it
he would
does
have taken
matter.
himself off, and then I guess Anika or Daniel would have been put up. Okay, so
Right.
yeah, it did matter.
Yeah, it did matter. She would had if she would have nominated Ty, then Shania would not have gone home. But that is not what happened. She chose to not nominate Ty. This was not a backdoor opportunity because he got to compete in the or in the veto competition. And so once again, 4 weeks in a row, Ty has won the power veto. And Arissa drops this fact that I had not realized that the veto has been used every single week. I did not realize I had not been tracking that. And I'm like, oh, that makes things so much more interesting than, like a BBUS season where we rarely see vetoes get used. No, nobody wants to go against what the HOH wants. We
Yeah,
have to
but
honor those nominations.
however, the game is kind of set up in BBCAN for the veto to be used, with the HOH never playing in the veto.
Sure,
So it is the
a
game is
little.
just no, not a little bit, a lot of
Well,
it.
but I mean, how often does the HOH win the veto in BBUS? Like, we would have to look at it.
Well, no, but it's let's. But you also have house gets picked that gets put in the like. There's other factors that all work together that I think makes it more likely. But you're right. Like there is something about this about BB Canada where people are like, yeah, look, I got the power. Let's do something with it.
Right, exactly. It's yours. I mean,
But
you've earned the right to have a say just as much as the HOH has.
But look, like I'm not going to be the person that says it's always right to use it, because knowing me and the way I like to play games, I'm a lot more conservative. I'm very careful. I do not like ruffling feathers unnecessarily. I like to strike once or twice when I know I'm going to get it. That's the
Yeah.
way I play. I'm a fucking surgeon. So like, to me, I probably most likely would not be using vetoes unless I knew I had to.
Mhm.
So I don't know, maybe more entertaining, but not always the best strategic move.
So Ty wins the veto, and immediately I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's just going to leave nominations the same. But, God, I'm going to choke on these words. Ty pulls off a baller ass move and pulls Claudia into the pool room and is like, what is the hold that Shania has over you? Because she is standing in the way of you, me, and Renee being in the final three. And wait, what? I'm sorry, excuse me? A final three of Ty, Renee, and Claudia? When the hell did this come up? Like I
Okay.
thought I thought Ty hated Renee. I thought Renee hated Ty. Renee just tried to get Ty out, but apparently this is a final three. And I don't know if I think this is Ty's ideal final three because he thinks that he can walk all over Claudia and Renee.
Can I? So look. You were shocked by this. I too was shocked by this. You thought this was a great move.
I think this is a great move.
I am uncertain it is.
I think it is
Uh,
great. I think it is great
and
television. It is great
oh,
drama, and I think it is great to force her hand because I think Claudia was in a really, really, really good position because whichever one of them, if Daniel stays or Anika stays, that the other one is still okay with her because he doesn't have anywhere else to go, and
but 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 the
Ty's
thing
good
about,
with her.
yeah,
The
but if
girly
the
pops are good with her.
if the real goal is Renee, Claudia, and Ty, then you don't get rid of Shania. Why? Because Shania is going to be on their side. So I like. Don't you need to get rid of
But
Daniel
Ty
and
Ty has to look at the situation and be like, "This girl's broke up with me in this house. She has been with these 2 girls all along. She clearly is closer to Shania than Renee, and I've got to split that duo up."
okay, again, this is the exact reason why I started not liking Ty in the first place. Like this jealousy, this I want full control, this all this stuff. I don't get it. It
No,
like to
I
me,
love this as a move.
Shania hasn't won a thing in this house, and Daniel has, and Daniel has come close to winning things time and time again. So if I was
Shanae's
getting
Shanae's
anybody
not a
out,
threat to Ty competition-wise. Shanae is a threat to Ty socially
yeah, but
because
this is the end of the game, though.
Shanae is the
Kylie.
one that can rival Ty's standing in Claudia's game.
This is the end of the game, and sadly, at the end of Big Brother, the only thing that really matters, or one of the only things, is competitions. So I see what you're saying. I think that's more important 3 weeks ago. I'm not as certain it is as important anymore.
Oh, I don't agree. I don't agree at all. I think this was a really, really good move. Um,
Look, time will tell. Time will tell. And like we'll see what happens. We
yeah.
do not know. I don't
And I
think
mean,
we want to wait.
Ty has just gained so much favor in Anika and Daniel's eyes. Like they're still going to be going after Renee and Claudia. Like that deal is done. Like Daniel and Anika are going to be so pissed at Claudia, and so that puts Claudia even further into Ty's pocket. Um, but they're going to be going after probably Claudia, maybe, and then like if Renee is the casualty, that's fine. So Ty is in pretty good standing with them. Ty may just win all of the competitions for the rest of the game, and Claudia is still good with him. Really, Ty's only concern now is Renee.
Yep, and maybe losing
And
competitions.
yeah, and I mean, if they all decide to like, hey, we can't let him get there, if he doesn't win something, we have to get him out. Um,
But don't you think Daniel has the strategic prowess to go to convince Claudia? Look what he just made you do to your best
no,
friend.
I don't know if he does. I mean, I think Claudia is like, excuse the language, dick whipped um by our boy Ty.
I have to check if that's a real word. It's not in the Merriam-Webster dictionary today. Dickwip, a mental state of obsession originating from powerful, deeply satisfying sexual interactions that cause a woman with a weak mind believe that she's what? That she is empowered by something. I don't know. Dick whipped. Now I know 2 words. Oh my gosh, Renee is shocked.
So, time for the veto ceremony, and well, actually, the girly pops get together in the bathroom, and Claudia's like, "Yeah, I think he's going to use it," and Shania is like, "Renee, I think you deserve to be here more than me." And I'm like, "Well, that's good, Shania, because she's going to put you up anyways." But
Can we just talk about that for a second?
devastation.
Well, yeah, no, devastation, rightfully so. Look, they were together the entire time.
Mhm.
They were losing it on the bottom together the entire time. They were dismissed the entire time. They were disrespected the entire time. So, yes, devastation. But I have to give it to Shania because when she said, "You deserve it more than me," I don't think she was saying, "You deserve it more as a human." I think what Shania was saying was, I do not have the same chance you have at winning this game. In
Mhm.
fact, and I don't know if Shania sits beside anybody that she wins this game.
Correct. I agree.
Whereas the other side is true. Renee could have won the game. And
Mhm.
as somebody who has built a real deep, strong relationship, a friendship, love for another, I actually very much so respect Shania.
Mhm.
And I wasn't on, this pod last week to talk about Big Brother, but the highlight of of last week's Big Brother for me was Shania because it was the first time we actually saw who she was as a human. Her reaction when they locked her out of the pool table room was just so real, so authentic. And again, I thought Kuzi was the great, amazing. No, no, no. Shania is my star of the season in my heart.
Ooh,
She
okay. Hot
is the real, authentic, kind-hearted, good human being, and I feel so sad that we didn't get to see more of her.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying there. Like, she does seem very nice. Just, not very exciting as a player. or as a TV character. All right, but time for the veto ceremony, and Ty does in fact remove Daniel from the block,
Anika.
and I mean, sorry, Anika from the block.
By the way,
I
why Anika?
literally watched this 20 minutes ago. Um,
Why Anika and not Daniel?
because I think Anika was the tempting one for them to vote out, um, for whatever reason, and so removing that temptation, having Daniel left up there. Yeah. All right. Time to vote. Renee tearfully votes to evict Daniel. Ty and Anika happily vote to evict Shania by a vote of 2-1. Shania is evicted on Claudia's HOH, and just the tears flow.
Yeah,
The girly pops have been split up.
by the girly pops.
Bye bye, girly pops.
This was a really great alliance.
Yeah, it was, I mean, a very strong together alliance.
And
I
truly
don't know
respectful alliance.
if push came to shove, I do not think that Shania would have turned on Renee in favor of Daniel and Anika. Claudia, I don't exactly trust her. She might have, but I don't think that as a group they would have turned on each other. And so, best alliance of the season, girly pops.
The thing about Claudia is that she lucked out or not lucked out that she made relationships with Ty, and Ty's still in the game. It just so happens that Shania's relationship was with Dan, and he is not in the game. So
Mhm.
she didn't have any real options left.
Right. So we are down to our final five. Once again, we are still positioned exactly how we started this week. We have the two remaining members of the crown. We have two girly pops, and we have one tie in the middle. Who is winning this game? 2 weeks from yesterday.
So I want my winner pick to win, and that is Daniel. I think there is still a path for that to happen. I think the difficulty he has is there are two other now compistes in that house, and that is Claudia and Ty. And I think that screws a lot of things up. So it would be fantastic if Daniel wins next HOH. We
Okay.
haven't we haven't had an endurance in a while, which makes me think
Yeah, that could be
um,
an endurance.
that the next one may be an endurance, which is not helpful for Daniel, which would be a lot more helpful for a Claudia, but she can't play, so a tie.
Yeah.
So I sadly think that this is going to be a tie HOH week, and Daniel is going to be going home.
But will Daniel go home over Anika?
Better from a game perspective, but I don't know.
Okay, so 5 people left. Can Ty win the game?
No.
Can Renee win the game?
Yes.
Can Claudia win the game?
Yes.
Can Daniel win the game?
Yes.
Can Anika win the game?
No.
The only one that I think is a solid no is Anika. I think that there is a path and a road for the other four. And that's actually really unique because I don't feel like a lot of times at the final five, you look and think there could be multiple winners here. There's usually a very, very clear front runner.
Can we just go through at least one of them that we disagreed, and that was Ty? Would
Mhm.
Ty ever vote for would Dan ever vote for Ty to win?
No, I don't know Dan.
I don't think he would after the way he
I mean,
disrespected
I think it honestly depends who he's sitting next to.
Ty and Claudia.
And you
Ty
have
and Claudia. Claudia wins.
I don't know. I mean, you have the power of Kuzi advocating for Ty in the jury, and is that enough?
But here's the thing: Kuzi advocates it, and if like I actually think though, I think Daniel.
And
I think Daniel
if he
is
gets there of like
ready. for
I
Kuzi.
was this huge threat, and I basically won these comps out from, like, 5 weeks left in the game. I don't know, like, I don't want Big Brother to just boil down to competition wins, but, I mean, he does have the strategic side to him too, where, he made this move against the girly pops, and like I said, I think he's positioned himself pretty well, and he's also positioned himself well with not really great competitors in terms of competitions,
Yeah,
so
so he can't be there at the final what is it called? The final
the
HOH.
final H, yeah,
He
he
wins
can't do it.
that.
Yeah, he's gonna win.
It's dangerous.
You have
So
2 chances to get him, or he's going to win the final HOH.
Daniel has to win. Daniel has to win, or we're in big doo doo.
All right. Well, that is our recap of this week in the
Sorry,
BBCAN manor.
who do you never answer? Who do you think should win, and who do you want to win?
It's really, really hard. I am pulling for Renee. I've been pulling. I was kind of torn between Akuzi and Renee. Now all of my eggs are in the Renee basket, with Daniel being my second preference, and then the other three falling way, way, way behind those two. Um,
Who do you think will win?
Daniel.
Wow, you think he could pull it off?
Yeah, I think he can.
You think my winner pick is going to win?
I think he is.
Let's go.
All right. Anything else to add, Sheldon?
No, it's been a really I've really enjoyed the last 2 weeks in the Big Brother Canada house a lot more than the first 5 or 6 weeks
Mhm.
in the
Yeah.
Big Brother house. The gameplay has been ultimate. They've actually been strategizing. It hasn't just been some weird rude people doing rude things. Although there was rude people doing rude things, but there was a lot more to it in the last few weeks.
Mhm.
Um, the next few weeks, 2 people left. Sorry, 5 people left. Three more people to leave. Let's see what happens.
All right. Well, we will be back next Friday to talk about the latest week in the BB Can house. And we will also be back live next Thursday to talk about the latest episode of Survivor. If you missed it, we were live yesterday talking about that also. And I've enjoyed the last couple weeks of Survivor also more than the previous week. So it's like both shows are heating up as we, stare down the finale. I'm excited to see what's to come from both of them.
And then Big Brother comes back, where for the fans, we'll be covering Big Brother,
US.
America, USA, whatever y'all call it down there.
Big Brother. We don't need
Julie,
to
the
we
Julie,
don't need to add in our
the
country
Julie Chan
moniker.
Christian Network, whatever you want to call it, we got it for you. We'll be covering it all summer long.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.